Hello everyone. This is a layout tutorial. I'm not sure why I'm talking like that. This is a layout tutorial. Yes. I'll be uploading this level. Uh but for right now, I recommend just seeing what I do. And this will just mainly help out anyone who like really struggles. I'll just I guess tell them to watch this video. I don't know. I've been layout creating since like forever. Here, let me quickly lower my desktop audio. There we go. There we go. Or it could just do that and pull one of those on me where it just doesn't play. Oh, there we go. Now it plays the music. Anyways, this is my old account. It used to have so much more, but I started from this. And a ago. Let me see. Which one has this comment on it? There. No, that was me. Just the overlooking. I'm just looking only. Around like a year and a half ago. I don't know. A lot of them got deleted. Unity Music Part 1 is still one of my first. But there was still my first. But there's so much more history that was deleted. Like this area. This whole thing, it just snapped. And now it's only showing the newest, the somewhat newest, and the somewhat lowest. So yeah. Also 300 stars exactly, which is very sick. So yeah, I've been creating a lot. And let's start off with the tutorial. Now it's a bit of a show off, sorry. Let's do yeah, that was just random. I recommend picking a song that it kind of feels like what's gonna be like. It's like always like you imagine the layout in your mind. At least that's what that's what I used to do, and it's that's what other people do. Here, let me try out what would be a good one. How about this one? Not too bad. Practicing Mountain King as my flip through. Okay, so if you want, this is like some trainer stuff, I guess. This is not absolutely needed, but if you want to. Also, this is a very like quiet song. So yeah, sorry. Let me just do this. There we go. It'll hurt my ears on this side, but whatever. On my side. See, what I just did there was I made lines. Basically, this is like a feature. This is a really important part. Syncing. And by the way, I didn't say singing because that kind of sounded like singing. I got singing. But yeah, now you see it. Boom. You want to make sure that every like significant note that start the is not a significant note, at least to me. Whatever you say is a significant note, just click on it. Just whenever you hear it, click. Simple as this. Okay, so you see that. And I just marked out all the significant notes. Now, of course, this is going to be bad, but I just want to show you how, general syncing will go. I'll show you how to make a decent layout. Here. Let me just bring my microphone in. There we go. something optional is you can make the click sync up with the lines. So whenever you click, you're gonna be inside of the lines. Like, you usually want to click here. I put a jump pad here just because, and only because, I don't want it to be incredibly difficult. Now, for example, this one. I just clicked there, right in the middle of this line, which means that was pretty well synced up. But you don't want to spam these orbs, okay? What you want to do instead is use a variety of things. Because, doing this isn't very fun. That's just like, no. So yeah. You'll learn all of these tricks eventually. Like I have right here. But yeah, you see how each jump pad syncs up to the music pretty well? That's a baseline, okay? That's the baseline for all layouts. Is that at least it gotta have some decent sync. So that at least people would be fine with it. Now let me just show you something. I'm gonna do a cut, and I'll start again whenever. Well, you'll see it whenever I have made the layout, and then I'll show you the tricks that people use to sync up using, because you don't want it to be just, again, you don't want it to be just orbs. That's called orb spam, and a lot of people don't like it. It doesn't make for a good layout. And the reason you've come here is to make a good one. At least I hope so. So, yeah. You gotta use a variety of blocks, tricks, etc. Even portals. But, yeah. You gotta use a variety of those to make a fun one. Okay. And now that I've done it, here you go. This is what I call a bare bones layout. It's like the least refined, okay? But it is classified as layout, in my terms, like what I classify as layout. Other people might say it must be better than this, or at least it has to be like 1 or 2 blocks to be a layout. I say it has to sync up well. You can find different opinions online. Now, what you see, again, is a very bare bones layout. Now, what you want to do, because this doesn't look good, okay? Very bare bones layout. But let me just start off with the gameplay first. So first, you go into this, and then you drop down. This is one trick. This, whenever you go into here, it doesn't have to sync up exactly perfectly, but you usually want it to sync up like 75% of the time. That's like, again, a minimum for my standards. Of course, you can find different standards online, but, I've seen a lot of layouts, and I think I come somewhat close to the average accepted amount. I just like to do different things, different tricks. Now this is the part that's interesting. See, if you go into this, you'll die. You need to click this right away, because otherwise it won't propel you up to here. But also, you do realize, I think a lot of people have noticed that you can just skip this part. You could just jump off of this pad, and then you could just easily, finish. You just ride along right over here, and then finish the level. That's why you want to put spikes here. But you could also do this, or not. What I recommend for doing that then is just doing something like this. Just try to move some things up, just so that you can't do that. And now you can't do that. See? Okay. Now, of course, we want to fix this part. Here, let me just fix it up. Of course, you don't want to see things floating. Okay, that's another massive thing that a lot of people do. A massive mistake. Don't want to leave these things floating like they're just magically on anti-gravity. At least try to give them some support so that they look like they're attached to something. Well, in reality, they're not. Just make them look like they are, because it'll look much better. Now, if there's any spikes, hold on. If there's any spikes, wait, one sec. Wait, I have to say this before. Make sure that these connect up and that they're always like this, because you know that means they're in the center. That's good. You know, doing stuff in the center is always satisfying, right? Okay, but if you ever have a scenario like this, always delete the spike. Never delete this part. It'll look bad. Either that, or you could just do... Wait, no. Never mind. So then what you can do, you can just... if you're on a PC, you can just hold shift and then drag your mouse to select an area. Press this button, press D, press the WASD buttons to actually move the thing around into its desired spot. This is the spot that I wanted to go into. Q and E also rotate. I don't know clockwise and counterclockwise. I've never been taught that. So I'm not sure which one goes clockwise, which one goes counterclockwise. Sorry. Some schools, you know, teach that kind of stuff, but my school didn't, which is great. So I just learned off of other people. But yeah, what you could also do is you could just jump into here, or you could just go into here. You just wait and wait, don't click. You just don't click, and you fall all the way down and down and down. That's why you put in spikes. So, like, even if you jump, then you won't be able to, you know, fall down. Falling down like that is just annoying. Okay. Yeah, look at this. Here, you usually want the orbs to be in the center of where you're going. You know, where you're gonna hit. And also, let me just do the final polishings. You see what I'm doing? You know what to do with your setup. Do it like this. I recommend. Highly recommend, actually. And of course, you could just go like this. You just don't want any cheats. You want it to go sync up, right? So you don't want it to cheat anyways. So yeah, look at that. And here are some interesting blocks. S blocks here. These are just going to be useful blocks for interesting purposes. D blocks, whenever you're a wave, you can actually touch solids like this. Like this. If you put D blocks above it, or just D blocks touching it, anything inside, any wave thing inside the hip, inside the D block. By the way, you can't see these S blocks. People call them D block, J block, S blocks, H blocks. You can't see them whenever you're in the real game or actually playing. So yeah, those are what D blocks do. Allows you to touch surfaces with wave game mode. J blocks disables you from jumping, which is good in some cases. You know, if you want to, you could. S blocks just stops you from dashing more. You see, let me just play it. And just notice. Oh, wait, dang it. Hold on. If that ever happens, then just move it down a few bits. Just press shift and then S. But yeah, you see that? I was holding it the entire time. These S blocks stopped me. Once I touched it, it forced me to, you know, fall and stop the dash. Because that's another important thing. Whenever you have a dash orb, always make sure there's S blocks. Otherwise, people could just cheat through, just hold the button, and if there's spikes over here, let's pretend the S blocks aren't here. Actually, let's just do this. If there's spikes right here, like this. This is not like what you do in a real thing, but just imagine. You could just hold the button and skip all of this. But if you have the S blocks, then well, you're gonna have to jump here. You have to go like this instead of cheating all the way through. And you can cheat even more if you're lucky. If you got like not if you set it up correctly, accidentally correctly. You just don't put in anything that would stop them. A lot of people just do this. They put in a wall here. But things like this wouldn't be possible. Things like where at least it would be frame perfect. Like you cannot go any further than this point. Usually whenever you have blocks, you can just drop off early. You can always do this to stop them from dropping off early. You want to give them some space though. And by the way, to put it in the middle of a grid block, or in the middle of a grid, press this button 7 times. Press this button 2 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. It's perfectly aligned to the center. That's because these go up by 15 each time. So, if you know division, dividing by 2 means like here, like this. Okay, I forgot what I was doing, but it seems like I was talking about how to center a thing, how to center on an object, and how to not use these. Anyways, you got a lot of the this is like a lot of the polishing. And usually, what you don't want is large areas where, it takes time to die. Instead, what you want to do, for example, you want to center it, if it's too wide platform. Make it look like it's standing, so that anybody that, somehow bugs over here, just has no chance. Because this one is there. It shortens the amount of time. And also, you can put in some extra spikes. There we go. And now, they want that. And now, they'll know that if they do bug out there, they're gonna die. And that means there's no way to really, cheese it. Oops. Control Z works in this. You can also put in spikes in the gaps. But yeah. This is a lot of polishing. And it's like a real level now. One last thing, of course. Make sure everything at least has some kind of platform to stick onto. Don't want to have something like this. Of course, you can put a spike. You can set a spike as the platform. Which is why things like this is cool. And I use 2 of these in one of my layouts. But yeah, now you get it. All you need to do is think of cool ways that people can be bounced. Cool ways, you can hold. For example, my crab. My crab one. It's a pretty good example. Look at that. You could just hold the button there. But now you release the button. So that you can make it there. That is some cool sync. And that is unique. I used H blocks to do that. As H blocks let you hit your head infinitely without dying on that specific block. You can just hold the block until the first chance that you can actually move up or jump. I mean, sort of, the first frame that you can jump in immediately jumps you up into here, which then gets repeated. You try to jump, but there's a block above it. Well, no. Here, let me explain it again. There is an H block, and you want to jump, but you cannot because there's a block above you, and the H block is preventing you from being dead. You move to the next frame. Same thing happens. Next frame, until the first frame that you can actually jump, and then you can go. And then if you position it correctly, you can move it. You can move it so that it immediately goes to here, and then the same process into this, and then you could just release the button so it falls down like this. Of course, you gotta test these out. You can't just easily just. I can't snap my fingers. But usually you don't want to instantly just be able to do something like that. No. I can't speak today. Usually you don't want to. Usually it takes time to do something like that, so you can't do it every 2 seconds. But for parts that feel bland, that are just well, they kind of feel like this. For parts like this, for a different song, of course. Or if you want it to be harder, you could replace this and all of its supports instead with simply these. Just pretend these jump pads and supports are gone. Actually, I can make it better. There you go. Boom. So you just da 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 da. Of course, you could just do this. So it could be da 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 da. You got my point. And that means whenever you click, at least the ultimate sync is whenever your clicks sound like you're making the song. That kind of sound like Hall of the Mountain King, which is the song I'm using right now. By the way, that's the same song on if you search this one on YouTube, it's the one that actually sounds like this. YouTube.com. Of course you can't see it, but you'll be able to hear it. 2 notifications. Hall of the Mountain King. This is just my last few seconds, but I believe this is the one. I don't know. No, never mind. There we go. Yeah, it's that song. That took me a long time to figure it out. But once I finally figured that song was called Hall of the Mountain King, I was so much happier. So yeah, and I know a lot of people, for example, my friend at least that's one person that didn't know about it, but they kind of wanted to know about it. Well, I'm not sure if he wanted to know about it, but yeah, it's just useful information. And now you know. Useful song. And guys, it's done. The tutorial is done. That's layouts, triggers, other stuff I do not specialize in. I specialize in making layouts, and making fun layouts. By the way, fun layouts are unique ones. Something that's easy but looks interesting. Some sort of jump that not many people have ever done before or created. Just make it look unique. Make it look like it hasn't been featured in a level, or has been featured in very few levels, because it's hard to be original nowadays. And that's fun gameplay. And that's what I've been trying to do for a long time, and now I'm succeeding in it. Okay, that's it. Bye, guys.